Hi, this is Sairam Vedam. I'm the Global Chief Marketing Officer of Cigniti Technologies, the world's largest digital assurance independent quality engineering services company that's recently foraying into the world of digital engineering as well. First and foremost, I would like to thank the global DLC chapter from the Hyderabad edition in terms of having me here from the digital marketing and the PR committee. It's an immense pleasure to join my fellow marketing leaders and others to speak a little on some of the perspectives and experiences that we have in building global brands. And I'm sure this is going to be an immensely useful learning platform for all of us together. Well, before I talk, what I would like to share in terms of the topic today, building successful and most importantly, the challenger IT services brands, which are getting differentiated by being platform and IP led. So that's the experience that I carry. As we all understand, the IT services landscape is pretty crowded, right? While we have the multi-billion-dollar giants that have emerged out of India, raising into the leader squadrons in the global IT landscape, we also have dozens of companies who do significant amount of work in the mid-size space. My experience in terms of helping a brand unleash its true potential, what I call a 360-degree marketing approach to build a challenger brand which is successful, it is differentiated, is what I'm going to share today. So, some of these intricate aspects that I would like to share are through practical experiences of the last 10 to 12 years of building brands of global repute. Let me start with the first principle that I would call from the 360-degree marketing approach. Global IT services brands today have to significantly leverage thought leadership in terms of advocacy. So, when I call advocacy marketing, that transcends analysts and advisors. So, have you ensured you sort of work with the right set of analysts, whether it is a Gartner, Forrester, or a Nelson Hall or an IDC? Right set of advisors like ISG, Zinno, and Avasant, you got to have your influencer strategy right. That's number one. While that is very important to sign them up, it's also very important whether your chief marketing officer, your chief executive officer, and the rest of the leadership team carry the same narrative to analysts and advisors on a consistent basis. Whether it is about briefing them, engaging them, talking to them, inquiring with them, writing to them, hosting them, it's a whole bunch of series of activities that needs to be invested with a long-term horizon in mind. So that's number one. If you get that act right, the second thing is about your corporate branding and messaging by leveraging strategic PR. In terms of leveraging PR as a lever, it's not a transactional activity. Everyone in the leadership and then to the last straw in the company have to hold the narrative while it comes to the official spokesman. The rest of the people are collective ambassadors of the organization, and that's something that, as a narrative, that needs to be consistently told to the PR channels, whether it is print, broadcast, digital, high sector, high pothole media. Media communication, media interfacing is significantly important. Assuming you get your AR strategy right, your PR strategy right, it's also about technical differentiation. So, what I called out as an IP led, platform led model, it's not about having thousands of people in the ranks. It's about having intellectual property. It's about having accelerators and, most importantly, cloud led platforms that are very, very important in terms of providing differentiated delivery. The platforms could consist of the offerings that you're actually, building in it to the customer. It could lead to a digital transformation centric AI ML led offerings. It could be a chosen quality engineering differentiation that you might be doing. But what is very, very important to today's customers is the value that you could deliver through a platform led approach. So, if you got your AR strategy right, if you got your PR and media strategy right, if you got a differentiated platform led offering right, the fourth tenet, what I would call out is investing into labs and experience centers. So today's customers are much knowledgeable than what they were ever before, and people would love to see what your solution is, what your offering is by touch and feel, rather than just a whole bunch of slide decks that typically you would want to offer. So that comes in with your deep investments into labs and technology centers and experience zones. And I would strongly urge today's technology marketers to convince their boards, their CEOs to ensure that a handful of labs and experience centers get invested and rightfully proposed to customer community, which makes a significant impact. So with these four, let's also move into how do you leverage your partner ecosystem. So today's market is all about collaboration as much it is about competition, and hence the marketing strategy plays a significantly pivotal role in terms of attracting, building, nurturing, and expanding a globally led partner ecosystem. It's about joint go to market approaches, leveraging your technology partners, platform partners, and a whole bunch of them. That's a significant piece while you're sort of building a GTM strategy. With that said, the fifth tenet I would like to call is about your key account based marketing, which many of us would anyway understand as marketeers. But it's highly important to continue the dialogue in terms of ability to differentiate your offerings through purposeful messaging for those key accounts, key decision makers, leveraging a cross functional set of intelligence today's digital platforms offer. So that is where a marketer should also be thinking the way he should use. I mean, he should be a marketing tech stack expert. He should be a chief marketing technology officer as much as he or she is a CMO. So once you get that act right, it is about on field. See, it's about phygital experiences now we have. It's not about those events that we used to do anymore. It's the cross function of I'm looking at segments where it's about metaverse marketing, putting a 3D avatar for your brand, showcasing events in a 3D dimension, as much as also investing in events that are significantly purposeful, that engage your decision makers, and not just spurging dollars for the field marketing presence. So that's equally important. Something that I want to talk about while building a differentiated IT services brand is also about investor communication. See, the whole stakeholders, right? While you spoke about customers, we spoke about partners, we spoke about analysts. Assuming that we're talking about a public limited services company, it's very important to have a constant proactive narrative to your investors, not just before and after a quarter results are announced, but these are through series of proactive interventions in terms of the purpose of the brand, the vision with which it's crafted, and why does an investor have to understand what does this company has to go after in terms of creating value. So that's significantly important. Assuming you do all of this, the most important aspect, never forget your employees, right? It's your employee experience from a brand touch point that makes a significant differentiation to a brand's recall. Investing in ensuring that your employees are aware of the fact that they are the social brand ambassadors is a key component of modern day 360-degree marketing strategy that a global CMO has to drive in. In that sense, today's CMO has to be a stewardship of human capital, understand the psyche of employees, work with HR leaders, work with delivery leads and technology leaders in terms of equipping the employee base to be resonating with the purpose of the brand. So that sort of completes many tenets of what I would call a 360-degree marketing approach. But never forget the fact that a purpose of a brand is just not to be in the business of business. It also has to significantly deliver impact to the society, impact to the community around. Hence, in my limited experience, we've also seen that a societal thinking, communicating the reverence of the brand to the tenets of society, contributing back in terms of an impactful CSR program, leading all the way up to sustainability and being a responsible corporate that you are, creates a long-term engagement with your customers because they understand why does it make sense to work with a brand of this repute rather than many others who might be in the queue. So if you put all of this together, what becomes significantly important is, as a brand you become holistic, as a brand you become purposeful, and the last aspect is the whole investment into IP and platforms. That's something that I would want to significantly call out. As a repetition it might look like, but it is your ability to invest in platforms, work through modernization of those platform architectures, and hopefully have some of those IP patented, and sort of build experience zones to demonstrate the purpose of these platforms and the acceleration that it brings in. And the last aspect is your customer advocacy. So that is something that over the period of time, all of us have understood. But making customers truly talk about the experience touch points of the brand, not just in terms of the value that was delivered, but all the way from a pre-purchase to a post-purchase experience is critically important for global chief marketing officers. So Summarize, a chief marketing officer driving a 360-degree marketing strategy today touches four touch points. It's your employee experience, it's your customer experience, it's your investor experience, and it's your partner experience. When you get all of these experiences right, you sort of hold the narrative together, communicating the purpose, the vision of the brand. And if you are a tech company in the landscape of IT services, which are platformized, which are cloud driven, which are AI first, it becomes significantly important to understand that significant intricacies that an IP-led model can bring in and deliver innovation, and that could span pretty much all the global footprint that your brand operates. And in my personal experience, I've seen this work, and this is a reflection of a time-tested methodology that we've put together, what I call the 360-degree marketing approach. What I would like to emphasize is, globally, we've seen this 360-degree marketing approach help us significantly differentiate as an IP-led, as a platform-led software services company that is at the forefront of ensuring global digital transformation becomes reality. We call that accelerating the digital first initiatives of global companies, and our belief is helping customers go digital, help them stays beyond. And in that purpose, every one of us at Cigniti, what we've ensured is this brand transformation program, this brand vision that we carry is instilled, and that becomes a differentiation by in itself. One of the key things that I would also want to emphasize, assuming you're a public limited company, the differentiation also comes through your annual report. Doing corporate reporting is of strategic importance that holds the narrative together, the vision, and it's just not a scorecard of financial numbers. It's also a messaging craft in terms of communicating your purpose, the strategies that you've put together. So that is something that we've seen work significantly well for us. Customers have revered about the annual reporting that we do, and that it adds a significant amount of brand recall. Now let's also talk about how do you sort of measure this whole program, right? So your return on marketing investment from a differentiation standpoint comes in from the ability to garner significant amount of mind share, and it's just not valid share always. So that is something that is very, very important. Well, let me summarize with some 5 to 6 key takeaways for any one of you budding marketeers. Number one, hold your narrative together. The differentiation comes, not just through price warriorship, but it's also about the purpose and the narrative that you have. Number two, never forget the fact that you're building a challenger brand. So a challenger brand has got everything going for it, in my view, because if you could question the status quo of an existing leader, you're sort of making it a really differentiated narrative that you should sort of go and command a market premium. The third aspect is the narrative should be trickled down all the way from the top to everyone inside the company, which is a core principle when you're building a differentiated brand, because everyone has to articulate the same vision, the same mission, the same purpose statement, and also have the guts to sort of go out and proclaim what I call do marketing without a fear of failure. The fourth element is instill a sense of purpose in your workforce in terms of the commitment to the society, and that sort of ties back to what I believe in purposeful marketing, which in over a long period of time aids to a significant amount of differentiation. While it comes to interfacing with analysts, advisors, and investor communication, never forget the fact that no matter how senior your boardroom, your chief executives, and your fellow leaders, it's always important for the marketing office to sensitize, coach, and mentor them so that along with you, they sort of hold the same narrative together, which again communicates the purpose of differentiation. From an operational perspective, I would also urge, at least in a B2B scenario, if you're a young college grad, if you're relatively lesser experienced, pick up a technology skill that is closest to your brand's offering. It becomes extremely important to understand why digital assurance is important for brand transformation. If you're an AI/ML engineering services company, it's better to at least do an 101 ML course for a marketer to sort of have a feel of what does ML actually mean to a brand's digital technology transformation. So that's very, very important. And in my personal experience, we've always ensured the marketeers in our teams are technologically equipped. If you are marketing a brand in the B2B technology, in the B2B software services space, it's important for you to communicate the narrative in a technology manner because your end customers are technology companies buying tech services from you. Last but not the least, never forget to engage your engineering workforce with a purpose, because at the end of the day, their craft is to write code, test code, develop solutions. So as marketers, it's absolutely responsible of yours to sort of coach them. Why does it mean, what does it mean a lot for them to communicate the value proposition that they're developing? So if you sort of put all of this together, the last binding principle, every marketer, in my opinion, should be writing, should be communicating. So when you bundle all of us together and then sort of trickle it up, in my opinion, a differentiated platform-led IT services brand could emerge from nowhere. And then lastly, right, it's about an emotional value proposition that you need to tie up your brand so that the purpose of the brand relates to customers. And once again, I would like to thank the DLC global chapters as well as the Hyderabad chapter for having me here along with the fellow marketing, PR, and the digital marketing leaders. And hopefully this is of use to you. Thank you very much, and we will catch up very soon.